What if I told you that the loudest voice in your life isn't your enemies, isn't your struggles? It's the invisible crowd in your mind. The people who aren't even in the room, but still decide how you dress, how you speak, how big you're willing to dream. Who are you really living for? How many times have you shrunk yourself so you wouldn't stand out? How many dreams have you delayed just to look ready for people who were never going to support you anyway? Some people wake up to live. Others wake up to perform. They perform success. They perform happiness. They perform confidence. But tell me, when was the last time you met the real you, not the version built for approval? Because the life you want is always waiting on the other side of what you're afraid people will say. This is Timeless Tales of Wisdom, where stories turn into lessons, and lessons turn into stronger minds, braver hearts, and better lives. Subscribe now, and let the next story find you. Emily grew up learning one rule before all others. Watch what people will say. It followed her like a shadow. If she laughed too loudly, someone would say she was proud. If she dressed simply, someone would say she was poor. If she dressed boldly, someone would say she was trying too hard. So Emily learned to borrow herself from others. She dressed like her friends, even when the clothes felt tight on her soul. She bought things she did not need, with money she did not have, just to avoid questions. She spoke softly even when her heart was screaming. She believed fitting in was the same as belonging. It was not. Emily had always dreamed of starting a small business. Not something big, just something honest, something that could grow. But each time the idea came, another voice followed. What will people say if it's small? What if it doesn't look successful? What if they laugh? Her friends talked about big launches, big shops, big announcements. So Emily decided to wait. Not because she wasn't ready, but because she wanted to start big enough to impress people. She told herself, I'll start when it looks serious, when people can't talk. And so the dream waited. Every time she stepped out, she checked herself in an invisible mirror, not to see who she was, but to see if she matched everyone else. And every time, the mirror demanded more. Change this. Hide that. Be like them. At gatherings, she laughed at jokes she did not find funny. At shops, she pretended not to see prices, though her heart was counting every coin. At home, she lay awake, tired, not from work, but from performing a life that wasn't hers. One day, she met a woman everyone simply called teacher. She wasn't a classroom teacher. She was a woman who had lived, failed, learned, and risen again. Emily admired her quietly. During one conversation, Emily mentioned her business idea, then quickly added, "But I want to wait. I want to start properly." The teacher looked at her and asked gently, "Properly for who?" Emily didn't answer. The teacher continued, "Small beginnings don't embarrass you. Fear does. People will talk whether you start small or never start at all." Those words stayed with Emily, but fear still held her back. One evening, she went to a celebration wearing shoes she could barely walk in. Her feet ached, but she smiled. She had learned that pain was acceptable as long as it looked good. Then she tripped, not badly, just enough for the room to notice. Laughter rose. Whispers followed. Why is she always trying to dress like them? She should know her level. Who does she think she is? Emily stood there, heat rushing to her face, shame wrapping around her chest like rope. She ran outside. Behind the hall, under a flickering light, she sat down and finally cried. Not for fall, but for the years she had spent trying to meet people where she was never meant to stand. An older man, a cleaner from the hall, approached quietly. He had been watching the crowd all evening. "Why are you crying?" he asked. Emily wiped her face. "I try so hard, but it's never enough." He nodded. "Because you're trying to be a copy in a world that already has originals." She looked at him. He continued, "Tell me, when a mango tries to taste like an orange, does it succeed? Or does it only lose its sweetness?" Emily was silent. "You are different," he said. "Different background, different money, different dreams, different timing. Why are you ashamed of that?" "But people judge," she whispered. "They always will," he replied. "They judge you when you tried. They will judge you when you stop. The difference is, Only one choice will leave you at peace. He pointed back to the hall. Look at them. Some buy things to impress. Some dress to compete. Some laugh to hide fear. Everyone is fighting something. Why are you fighting their battles? That night, Emily walked home barefoot, holding her shoes in her hand, and something shifted inside her. She remembered the teacher's words. She remembered the waiting. She remembered the dream she had delayed, not because she wasn't capable, but because she was afraid of opinions. The next morning, Emily made a decision. She stopped waiting to impress people. She started her business. Small, quiet, and honest. No grand announcement. No borrowed confidence. Just courage. People talked. She started like this. Is that all? I thought she would do something bigger. But this time, the noise did not stop her. She wore what felt like her. Simple, clean, honest. She stopped buying what she couldn't afford just to look equal. She stopped copying behavior that wasn't natural to her. She stopped apologizing for her financial season. When friends went shopping, she went when she could, and stayed back when she couldn't, without shame. When conversations didn't align with her values, she stayed quiet, not out of fear, but out of self-respect. Some people drifted away. Others respected her more. But for the first time, Emily respected herself. The business grew, not overnight, not loudly, but steadily, because it was built on truth, not pressure. Years later, a younger girl asked her, "How did you become so confident?" Emily smiled gently. "I stopped meeting people where I was never designed to stand. I stopped dressing my body for approval, behaving for acceptance, and delaying my dreams for validation." She added softly, "You and I can never be the same as anyone else. And that is not a problem. That is the point. Because the moment you stop living in other people's opinions, stop copying their dressing, stop matching their spending, stop borrowing their behavior, and stop postponing your purpose to impress others, you finally meet yourself. And that meeting changes everything."
And as this story fades, remember, the life you're searching for isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for courage. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Timeless Tales of Wisdom, where every story is a step toward becoming who you were meant to be. Tell us in the comments, what part of today's story felt like it was written just for you? And if you believe growth is better when it's shared, leave a like and let this story reach someone who needs it.